Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer Grace of Happy Scatter, and today I'm sharing a scrapbooking process video using the August kit from Lollipop Box Club. So I started off with these beach photos from a day we spent on Hayling Island beach, and I just pulled a few papers with a bluey greeny feel to see which one I would like to use for the background. So I quite like this one. It's just got some diagonal stripes on it, so they're not too overpowering. I like this watery one, but it's not quite beachy enough. I like this one for its kind of simplistic feel, and I liked this one because it had a bit of yellow in the background as well, which I thought was kind of sunny, like the sun shining down on us. So I narrowed it down to this paper or the simplistic one, but I decided in the end that that one was too blue and I preferred the bit of yellow in this one. So I went ahead and cut off the border strip along the bottom of the layout to get started. Next I pulled out the kit. The theme for this kit is Wish You Were Here, so it's got lots of beachy, seasidey, holiday, happy bits and pieces. It's really nice and colourful. It doesn't quite show off how colourful it is in this video because in order to have the video nice and light, it also lightens the colours of the papers and things a little bit, so it's a shame because you can't tell how bright they are, but you can see from the photos at the end of the video. So I just started choosing the bits that I might want to use and the bits that I definitely didn't want to use. So there's some very plannerish bits, like things that you're doing for the week, so I knew I wouldn't be using those in the layout. So anything I knew I wasn't going to use, I put to one side, and everything else I kept out so that I could play around with it and see where I wanted things to go. I knew I liked this bucket list and to do for using for my journaling, so I just needed to choose which one of them I thought was best. I chopped the photo down, the larger photo down a little bit, so I'd have more space to play. I don't want to fill up the paper too much. I like to have a bit of white space on the background. So I just chopped that down so I could fit things in a bit better. So I started playing around with the to-do list to see where it would fit on the page. I cut off the holes because they were taking up too much space, and I thought it looked quite nice tucked behind the smaller photo. So I decided I was almost definitely using that to-do list. Then I just had a little look to see if I could fit the paper bag on the page because I really like the yellow and white stripes. But I decided it was too big and too overpowering, so I put that to one side and started playing around with the papers. So I love the colours in these papers. They were really picking up on the colours in the photos, but I just thought they needed they were a bit too overpowering with the big patterns. I want the photos to be the main thing that stands out, so I thought I might cut them down a little bit so that they weren't so big. And then I just played around with what other bits I might have. I absolutely love these confetti circles that came in the kit, so I knew that I wanted them on the page somewhere. I chopped down the to-do list a little bit more because I didn't have that much journaling, and then just checked which papers I definitely wanted to have at the top and just planned out a few other bits and pieces. So once I just checked where I would like this sunshine stencil to maybe go, I just thought somewhere at the top right because that's where the yellow is on the background of the paper. I then also just thought I'd start cutting down the papers because I couldn't really imagine what the rest of the page was going to look like until I'd worked out what these papers were going to look like at the top. So I just cut down really thin strips. I used the first piece that I'd cut to measure the strips of the other pieces, just so I made sure they were all sort of the right depth. They all matched each other. So I just figured I'd have these as a nice strip along the top of the page, so it makes it really nice and interesting. It's got all these different patterns, but as they're quite small, they're not dominating the photo or taking over too much. So I stuck them all down. I am using a Herma repositionable tape runner. I just love using this for my scrapbooking. Sorry my head keeps appearing in the video. I had to make sure I was putting them down straight along the top of the piece of paper. It's very hard to see that without looking over the top of the page. I also decided to use some washi tape just to kind of bring all those patterns back together and kind of just soften the way they merged into the page. So my next thing was to add a title. I knew I wanted it above the photo somewhere, so I picked up a few alpha stickers. The white one was too light, you wouldn't notice it on the background, and the green one was too bright. It was going to dominate the page again, and I really do want the photos to stand out. So I chose these letters, which have got a kind of patterned effect, greens and reds and things. So they were colourful, but not too bold, which was perfect. So then I arranged these saying the word Hayling on the top of the page. Sometimes when I'm putting letters on, I use a ruler and I'm really careful about making sure they're straight, but I just kind of followed the line of washi tape on this one. That was fine. Then I went and found some letters to spell the words island and beach, so that it said Hayling Island Beach. I chose these wooden alpha stickers for island. These were really annoying to try and get off the background paper, like the stickers were just ripping, which was very irritating. But they have been in my stash for quite a while, so fair enough. After I'd spelt out island, I used some yellow mini alphas to spell beach. They were much easier to use. I liked them. I overlapped the letters of the word beach just to kind of make it look all nice and neat and tidy. So with my title done, I just needed to arrange where everything else was going to go on the page. So my first thing to plan out was my circles. I added a few of those onto the page because I really, really love them. They're just so happy. I decided to tuck a few of them under the photos or to-do list a little bit, just so that they were peeking out, and I stuck those on first. Then I remembered the sunshine stencil and how I wanted that in the top left of the page, so I just kind of made sure I still had a spot for that before sticking all the photos down, the photos and the journaling strip down. I ended up moving a couple of them about a bit after sticking them down. That is one reason why I love this Herma repositionable tape runner, because you can move things about as long as you're quick. Once it's stuck for a while, it's then stuck for good, but while you're still putting the layout together, it's quite useful to be able to move things about a bit without ripping the background paper. So I just realised I'd stuck this photo too far over to the left, so I moved it a bit right ways. It was fine. Once I'd stuck those down, I decided to create my sun stencil item. So I got a piece of white card and some yellow ink pad, and used the Tim Holtz mini ink application tool to stamp the ink through the stencil. Look how dirty my ink pad is. I'm the leader of Rainbows, which is a girl guiding group, and I work with the PTA at school, so I've let children use my ink pads, and you can see the evidence quite clearly. They're all very dirty. Nothing I can do about it. Too late now. So once I'd coloured through the stencil, I then just cut it out just around the edges to make a nice sunny feature at the top of my page. I like how bright it is. I decided to stick the sun on using foam dots just to give it a bit of dimension. You can see I've just turned a piece of paper upside down here underneath the sun just to protect my page while I was putting these foam dots on, just in case the ink was still a little bit wet. I didn't want to get any on the photo. So I stuck that to the top of the page. I really love how it looks. Nice and bright and cheerful. Then I stuck on a couple of the phrases from the kit, also using foam dots. So I used sunshiny day and relax. They suited the page perfectly. Then it was just a case of playing around, seeing what else I could put on here. I cut out a couple of pieces from the postcard which shows the printables for subscribers, and I kind of just worked out where they were going to go on the page. It wasn't too hard to cut them out, except for the pineapple. Going around the leaves was a bit tricky, but I managed to make it work in the end. I haven't managed to download any of these yet, but I definitely want to. These are really fun shapes. I can see me using these on lots more pages. So I stuck the bucket and spade and the pineapple on using foam dots as well. I need to buy some more of these foam dots soon. I've been using them a lot. But I stuck the time to chill flag banner thing just on with the Herma tape runner because I didn't want everything to be on with pop dots. Just a little bit of dimension here and there. I wanted to pick out a bit more yellow, so I thought I'd use another strip of the sunglasses paper from the kit, just to kind of keep the theme of the page going and pull down a bit of that pattern from the top of the page down towards the bottom of the page, so you can sort of see it all coming together. So I stuck that below the smaller photo and just moved the bucket down a bit so it kind of hid the left hand edge of the strip. I pulled out a few of the remaining pieces that I wanted to use on the page. I decided the blue twine was too dark. Now I wouldn't use that on there, but I wanted a couple more circles and things, so I stuck the circles on with the tape runner. You can slightly see them through the tissue paper, to see the tape runner dots through the tissue paper, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me. It's only very, very light. You'd only see it if you were looking for it. And I wanted to use the little ice cream stamp from the kit too, so I just stamped that using some dark blue ink on the to-do journaling area, and I wrote out my journaling. Of course I used the rainbow pen from the kit, which is purple at the moment. My journaling says, "We were worried that Hayling Island beach would be too stony, but there was lots of sand. We played with my new unicorn, snorkeled, searched for shells, and the kids made new friends to play with. They dug a nice deep hole. It was a perfect day." I really actually enjoyed that day. It was a kind of trip for me and my sister because it was the weekend in between our two birthdays, but it was also Father's Day, so my dad came too, and obviously my husband was there as well. So it was a really, really perfect day. So happy and fun and sunny, which was lucky because it hadn't been that much during the week. So we were very pleased that we got sun for the weekend. Once I'd finished my journaling, I just had to stick on the last few bits and pieces. My page was almost done. I used a couple of the planner stickers because they're cute and happy. I used this one that says a weekend because it was a weekend away, so that seemed to be very good for the page. And I also just used a little flag. I tried the blue one first of all, but that blended into the background too much, so used another yellow, another bit of yellow, nice and happy and sunny, why not, eh? And I also stuck on one of these little stickers that has a writing space on it because I figured I could use that for the date. So I just made sure that was nice and straight underneath the sunshiny day phrase. I worked out where I could stick this starfish. Thought that was super cute, so I just used a bit of glossy accents to stick that down the bottom of the page. I like how everything's kind of tumbling down the page. That's very much my style, a kind of scattered effect. Then I added some gems from my stash, some silver glittery bits, a couple of yellow gems. These ones are some nice bright enamel dots, and a couple more, some orange ones. So I just played around a little bit with where those went, moved around the ones near the palm tree because I thought they worked better over there. And that was it. I thought I was done. I had a little look at the page, realised I hadn't written the date on. So I added that in there. And that was it. My page was finished. I think it's a very fun page, if I do say so myself. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out lollipopboxclub.com for more projects from the rest of the team. Bye for now.